the only thing that any business should be focused on is its customer. If you can't be bothered to focus on your customers, then really there's no point in being in business.
The unfair advantage.
Okie dokie. Hello, Calvin York. Welcome to the Unfair Advantage episode 12. We've basically made 12 episodes. We've made an LP, basically, so we can go home after this. It's we're official. We're like the Beatles. And Calvin, you know, I'm making a habit out of finding things related to the episode numbers that we're on. I'm always fascinated about why we do what we do. So 12, out of interest, is why we talk about dozen buns, dozen eggs, dozen everything. Is its mathematical divisibility. If you didn't know that, it can be divided by 4 times outside of 1 and 12, 2, 3, 4, and 6 instead of like 10, which can only be divided by 2 and 5. So the people who decided on dozens back in the day, not me, were super smart people. Anyway, a little tidbit for episode 12. How's it?
Yeah, Donovan Michael Packett. That is interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. I'm good. Spring's here, which kind of, I suppose, dates this recording if we're only releasing it a bit later. But it's nice to get out and play with our friends. And speaking of friends, Sky, see the seamless segue. Basically professionals. I'm very happy to have our good friend, my fellow Durbanvillian, I'm not sure, and CEO of Roger Wilco, Charlie Stewart, with us. Charlie, how are you, mate?
Hey guys, what an absolute honor to join you. Don, you're going to be a little bit tongue-tied when it comes to the episode number 13 if you're going to try and make it numerical. I mean, that's going to be quite... I'm definitely tuning in for that, and I feel sorry for the poor person who's your guest. Dude, it's awesome to be here.
It's going to be a fantastic one for sure.
You should have heard 8. He went nuts. 8 was a special one. Charlie, I was at the CEM conference a few weeks ago. I got to sit in on the session that you hosted, and you were highlighting some of the findings of your most recent CX report. Now, I know, in the past we've contributed to one of those with you before, but I hadn't seen this most recent one, and I loved what I heard, and so I really thought, let's get you onto our little 15-minute whirlwind of a podcast and just hear what you got from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I love that event. CEM Africa is like one of the highlights for me, because it brings together all of these people who care. They actually give a damn about customer experience. And, the only thing that any business should be focused on is its customer. If you can't be bothered to focus on your customers, then really there's no point in being in business. So for me, I mean, it's just amazing. It's an amazing opportunity to network, to see people who are absolutely, truly passionate about great experiences. Some of the content, a little bit salesy, but there's always one or two, very snackable, nice takeouts that I find. And so, yeah, I mean, we've been going there probably for 6-7 years now, and I hope we'll continue doing so into the future.
Awesome. Our previous guest in episode 11, Kaylin Phillips, was talking about be your own customer, right? How do we, as employees of businesses, technologies, whatever it is, drive that customer experience by, being the custodians of that? So I love this little thread of, people who care, right? And it starts with the people inside. So that's cool. Charlie, we also love a good origin story. So can you maybe just tell us the CX report? I mean, like, how long have you guys been doing it, and why did you start in the first place, and where's it gone?
Yeah, geez. I mean, this year was the 7th year. Can you believe? So it's a hell of an undertaking.
Something about the number 7. No, I'm joking.
Well, we interview over 2,000 consumers to try and pull all the findings together. I do it with a couple of partners, with a team at Over to You, who are a research company, and with Julia Alford, who's a CX professional. But I mean, why did we start it? I was sick of shit experiences. I was really, I was the murrin with just having really cuck experiences time after time after time. Some of them are, in my business, some of them in my role as a consumer, some of them, as a business trying to buy from other businesses. And I felt, we needed to put a flag in the ground and start talking about it. And when I started scratching around. There was no research. There was nothing in South Africa that tried to baseline who is getting it right and who is getting it wrong. And so it was an absolute no-brainer. Of course, there was an element of, if we get it right and if we make it into something significant, it will, it'll probably put a bit of a spotlight on Roger Wilco as a business. But really, it was about trying to open source, give people some insight around what they can do to make a difference in the lives of the people they serve. And that serve word is very, very, very important. As businesses, we are here to serve. We are not there to boss, to cajole, to demand. We're there to serve if we want people to buy our products and services. And the guys who do it well, they succeed. I mean, Forrester produces a CX framework each year, and they reckon that only 3% of companies in the world, 3% of companies in the world are absolutely customer obsessed. But those 3% see their revenue grow something like 10 times faster than companies that are not customer obsessed. So there's a commercial benefit.
Yeah. So I know there were a couple of kind of key, almost like themes and topics that you brought up. One of them was this idea of the empathy gap, and your report said that businesses think they're winning customers with their kind of brand values, but customers actually care more about whether your company keeps its promises, that contract that they sign with you, and whether they're offered good value. So what's the deal with that? Is it simply just lip service, or how can a company, I guess, fix this so they're not really just wasting money on marketing and stories?
Yeah, I don't think enough businesses are spending enough time with their customers. Years ago, when I was still working in the UK, I was working with one of the big retailers, the grocery retailers, a company called Tesco, and the then CEO, a guy called Terry Leahy. He was like Mr. Business. He was revered in the business landscape. Every month, he would go down to his local Tesco and he'd sit at the till and he'd talk to customers. And he'd make all of his senior executives do the same thing. That business, that organization just exploded. It dominated for a very long period of time the grocery retail landscape in the UK because he was there talking to his customers. Just brands, I don't think, are doing it enough. And I mean, when we asked our consumer panel and our business panel why the consumers are loyal to brands and why brands think consumers are loyal to them, the brands just cocked it up gigantically. 27% of the brands said consumers are loyal to them because their values as a brand, as a business, resonate with the consumers' values. The consumers said, nah, fuck you. Only 13% of them felt the same way. By contrast, the largest vote from the consumers went to organizations that live up to their promises. And a tiny fraction of brands felt the same way. So there was a real disconnect. I mean, for me, one of the more delightful disconnects was 10% of the consumers said they're loyal because of a brand's ESG commitments. Now, you guys probably know we're a B Corp inside Roger Wilco. We're passionate about trying to have a lasting impact on the world that we live in. So I was stoked to see that. Just 2% of the business audience reckoned that their ESG commitments were important. So, big disconnect. And, while these disconnects exist, businesses are going to struggle and not going to achieve the type of shareholder returns that they could. And in a country like ours, where the economy is growing so slowly, it's infuriating to see people getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to swear on your podcast, guys? Because I just did.
Fuck yeah.
Good.
No, we couldn't possibly have thought inviting a Scotsman onto our podcast would be clean language. That was
Sorry, it slipped out.
No, the thing is, it's also passion, right? It's you're so hell bent on making this customer experience drive from all different angles, important, and bringing that data to South Africa. So yeah, man, we salute you and thank you. One thing that I thought was pretty cool was this whole human comeback. So the report says everyone's rushing to adopt AI, but at the same time, people are also flocking back to physical stores looking for that human connection. So this little pendulum swinging over the years, and it's like we're going from one extreme to the other. So As a brand, how do you make sure that you're getting this Bothism right? This digital experience that's spectacular, this in-store, in-person experience that's spectacular. How do you make that work together?
I mean, it's so flippin' obvious that the two go hand in hand, isn't it? I found it infuriating. Go onto LinkedIn, you'll see some tosser, throwing out a theory that's silver bullet. You only need to do this thing and your world will be better. And, we live in a world, we live in an omnichannel world. We live in a, world where sometimes we want to go into a physical store, sometimes we want to buy online. And, brands must realize that we are, we're complicated and they shouldn't try to pigeonhole us. One of the challenges is that, as we become more tech obsessed, we try to use tech to, do everything. I mean, I'm often reminded of that old story, slightly silly old adage that, nobody buys a drill because they want a drill. They buy a drill because they want a hole. And, I think we just need to apply that same principle. What does a consumer really want? And, how do we give them a solution that's fit for purpose? I mean, on the AI thing, I mean, one of the stats that came out of the report was absolutely fascinating. We asked both the business and the consumer audiences how comfortable they were with AI and whether they thought AI was improving experiences. Now, you would expect that the business community would be the huge, proponents and trumpet blowers for the AI revolution, but the consumers were actually way, way, way more engaged and interested in using AI. I think it was 28% of consumers said AI always improves my experiences with brands, whereas just 7% of brands said that. So there's a lesson there as well. Consumers are actually willing to try shit out if shit works, if it makes stuff better. But I mean, what's the key message here for organizations? I think it's really just to understand that on Monday I might do this and on Tuesday I might do that. So don't assume that on Wednesday I'm going to repeat that pattern of behavior.
Yeah, we all have a vote. We all have a vote.
Absolutely.
I love KJ. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I just love these kinds of stats where it says consumers say 17%, businesses say 3%, but it's people who are still answering those questions.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah, those businesses are still consumers.
Building
Totally.
that's then scratching answers into the thing. It's like it's still people that feel this, but I have to put on my company hat and I have to put on my consumer hat. It's still us. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Look,
And
there was one of the guys who contributed to the report, guy who's the head of CX at Discovery Health. He hit us with this just perfect line. He said, brands that obsess over efficiency while ignoring emotion are optimizing themselves to irrelevance. Now, how cool is that as an insight? Brands that obsess over efficiency while ignoring emotion are optimizing themselves to irrelevance. Just nailed it. I mean, that was a mic drop moment for me.
maybe that's kind of our argument for humanity in general, right? Save us from the Autobots, and give us a reason to exist. Charlie, thank you so much. I love this idea of Bothism. I'm going to quote that every chance I get.
Disclaimer, I stole that word from Mark Ritson. It is not mine.
Doesn't matter. It's mine now. I'm going to use it. I'm going to claim it. I'm sure I've done that with other things as well. But I mean, yeah, it's relevant. So that's what's important, right? And I love the way of thinking about that. So thank you again for joining us. I will see you at the poker table. I love your setup, by the way. Your mic and Mongezi setting you up with that mic. Mine's not even plugged in. I don't even know what the point of mine is. So I'm going to throw that down. But I appreciate it, dude. So we'll see you on the next one.
Lucky guys. Thanks so
Charlie.
much. Lovely joining you.
The unfair advantage.